and welcome to another teacher talk session tonight. And tonight we are going to have our 220th session. And as you know that from, of course, different part of the world, we have a guest, and he is an international ELT expert and founder of ETA Uzbekistan, Feruz Akbarov. We are going to start our live session with him when he comes. But before, as you know that, starting our live sessions, I would like to take a brief moment to honor the memory of Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, the founder of Republic of Turkey, and today marks the anniversary of his passing. Atatürk was not only a great leader, but also a visionary who believed, deeply in the power of education, progress, and peace. His words, "The cornerstone of education is culture," and continue to inspire teachers like us around the world. Let us remember his legacy and continue to build bridges through learning and understanding, just as he dreamed of a brighter future for generations to come. Rest in peace, Mustafa Kemal Atatürk. Okay, so we can start. Let me accept his invitation. Ah, hello?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, everything is great, Feruz Hocam. And I hope you can see me and hear me clearly.
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful to hear that. And Feruz Hocam, before starting our live sessions, I would like to say thank you very much for accepting my invitation and being our guest tonight for 220th session of Teacher Talks.
That's a milestone.
Yeah, exactly, Feruz Hocam. And we are very busy as an educator. I know that you're also very busy. So if you are ready, can we start?
Absolutely.
Okay. And I know about you and you have a huge experience, but maybe our audiences would like to know about you. So can you tell us about yourself, please, and a bit about your experiences too?
Thank you very much for giving me the floor, Mr. Volkaniner. It's
Thank
such an
you.
immense pleasure to be part of your global Teacher Talk series. And I'm even deeply, profoundly honored to be the 220th guest on this
Yeah.
global stage. I've been actually one of the followers of this Teacher Talk series for like 5 years. And
Yes,
now
you're right.
the time has come for me to be a guest myself. So, cut to the chase. Like you presented already, who I am. I'm Feruz Akbarov, a global ELT professional with 16 plus years of teaching experience in Poland, China, Uzbekistan, and beyond. And I'm a global presenter in more than the 30 countries and platforms and organizations. I present very frequently at major TESOL conferences, and you can just go to my social media page, and it's literally filled and crammed with
Uh-huh.
TESOL participation and reflection and photos and lots of fun memories. So in short, I'm a global educator, and that's to the core. That's just one word to define who I am: a global educator.
Exactly. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Feyyaz Hocam. Would you like to add anything else, or can I move another question?
You can just go ahead.
Okay. So my next question is, what was or were your turning point or points in your own education?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. If you want me
Thank
to
you.
speak about a defining moment in my, well, let's say, 16-year teaching career as an ELT professional, I think I would proudly go back to the year 2014 when I was teaching in China, one of the top five language schools called Web International English in Nanchang. That was a provincial capital city of Jiangxi province. And I was working with a star-studded team, such as Australian, a British guy, an American, Canadian. It was like an A-list teachers with high caliber, and I felt like a guy who showed up out of nowhere, like from Samarkand, on such a huge global team. But at the end of the year, we had a gala, a New Year's gala, and I was an MC myself. I was emceeing the
Oh,
event together with my Aussie colleague from Australia. And at the end of the gala, the New Year's gala, they start awarding the best of the year. And then they called my name onto the stage as the best
no,
of the
great.
year. It was it was mind-boggling. It never crossed my mind to be awarded so soon as the best of the year on that team, on that specific, star-studded team. And I think that was the major watershed. That was like the critical point in my ELT journey when I realized that, hey, I can do more. I can go for more. This is
I
just the
see.
beginning.
Uh-huh.
Before that trophy, I was just doing the work as a normal guy. I was just, doing my best and just teaching, and I wasn't preoccupied with thoughts of high ambitions. And that moment was truly historic and a milestone that really brought the best out of me. And I set my sight on high ambitions. And ever since, for the past 11 years, I was dreaming big. I was trying to accomplish greater things,
I
unthinkable
see.
things previously, which were unimaginable. So now I feel like, okay, I can go for this. I can do this. I can do that. So I became like literally a Superman.
It's a wonderful, really. It's a wonderful that the moment that you had there. And by the way, thank you for sharing that moment with us, Hocam. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. And and you've been teaching for a long time. I think you just mentioned 16 years, you said?
16 plus.
16 plus, more than 16 years, and probably during your career you have tried different strategies, techniques, and methodologies in your lessons, and you try to teach this to other teachers, and you apply this to your lessons, and probably you have a philosophy of teaching. So what is it? What is your philosophy of teaching?
This is such a thought-provoking question, Mr. Iner. You know, um, I would probably try to answer this way. My teaching philosophy is not a, an immovable, fixed object because it's ever evolving. You know,
I see.
if I were to meet you at some point 10 years ago, somewhere in my teaching journey, and if you would ask me this question, and my answer would probably be totally different from what I'm about to say.
I
So,
see.
every year I keep refining, I keep adding something to my teacher's toolkit, to my teacher's philosophy. So at this point of you know at this point in my teaching journey, I feel like my teaching philosophy is a great teacher should be able to have a game plan, a big
Mm,
game plan. Because most of the teachers that I came across, especially in those public schools, even at universities, if you ask them, do you have any game plan? How do you see your teaching broadly? On a global scale. And do you believe that your classes are part of global conversation? Because most specifically, you are a language teacher and you are teaching English, which is, a hugely popular language in the world. It's lingua franca, literally. It's
yes.
everywhere it's spoken. And that's why it's a global language. So do you really believe that you're teaching a global language like English? And how inclusive your classes are, how integrated your classes are with the global,
Mm-hmm.
standards. No
I
matter you
see.
might be teaching somewhere in the remote corner of your country, but
Mm,
you can still make sure that in that unknown part of the
I
world,
see.
your classes are still well connected with a greater part of the world because you are teaching the global language and your students are about to converse in that global language with the global people, global citizens. So
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
my teaching philosophy now is I think the teacher should be able to see the greater game plan of their
I
teaching.
see. Uh-huh. I got it. I got it. That's a very you know, as a you put it with the you said game about with something like that.
Game
The
plan.
game plan you needed. That's very interesting. Thank you very much. And as you said, that every year we they put lots of things in our experiences, and sometimes we change the way we teach. We apply other things in on it. We should do like that because we can't say that like okay my philosophy is this, and I started teaching in, let's say, 1985, and I still continue using the same strategy. No, that's impossible.
You know,
You need to add something, you need to change yourself, you need to do lots of different things about it. Thank you for sharing it.
it is
And
possible unless you are not a lifelong learner. You know, if you consider yourself as a lifelong learner, so you have to keep improving, keep excelling, keep adding lots of things into your teacher's toolkit and
I
refining
see.
your teacher's philosophy at the end of the
Mhm.
day.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so we are educators, and educators they have lots of stories in their career. Sometimes we have bad stories, sometimes we have good stories, sometimes we have failed one, and sometimes we have, of course, the success stories we have. So what I'm gonna ask is about success. And can you tell us one or two success stories of yours? But when I say success stories, it's not like a success. We would like to hear if you have something inspirational for us, for other teachers, when they listen to it. If they can say like, wow, that's not really important and very, the nice thing to say. But in other vice versa, if you would like to talk about some very failed ones, you can also talk about the failed ones too.
Such a lovely and nice question. Um, and I'll try to focus more on the inspirational aspect of
Sure.
the question, right? So I'll try to pick something very tactfully. I think this, the teachers listening to us would love it. I don't think there was a teacher in the history of my country who single-handedly, came up with an initiative, with a global initiative to unite them around a visionary mission. And what was that mission like? Trying to accomplish a global goal
Uh-huh.
locally.
I see.
What I'm trying to refer is at United Nations Sustainable Development Goal for quality education. So it's providing quality and equitable education for all. And I try to accomplish that global goal within Uzbekistan and then extensively, broadly in Central Asia, and now it has reached a global scale. And what was that all about? During the lockdown in COVID-19 period,
Yes.
when the education was shut down largely, it was disconnected, and people were feeling chaotic. So they were just disconnected largely, and in terms of education, nothing was going right. And students were at some point they were disoriented. They didn't know where to move ahead. And at that point, I came up with an idea, with a vision to provide a teacher training sessions, a regular teacher training sessions via Zoom. And I
I
even
see.
came up with a project, several different projects like TED Master. It was something of a refined or kind of enhanced version of TED Talks, which is globally popular, and teacher development Zoom workshop, and a host of other projects that I wanted to bring and unite all those teachers, especially in the remote areas of my countries, who were, who didn't have an access to teacher development programs in the first place. And when the COVID-19 broke out, they were completely isolated. So in that moment, they were at the back of my mind. Like, I was just thinking about those guys. I thought there must be something done about about fixing this problem, because we can't just let them live in that bubble, in that chaos, for until as long as the COVID-19 subsides. And slowly but steadily, I started building the teacher development programs for those in the remote areas. And once the COVID-19 lockdown restrictions started relaxing, I started venturing out in person. So
Mm-hmm.
I traveled from the westernmost of my country, Karachi, Pakistan, all the way to the easternmost, Namangan, and everything in between. I provided in person teacher development workshops, trainings, seminars, both
Wow.
virtually and in person. And because of which, on your poster, you had something about ETA Uzbekistan. So that's not just a kind of a Facebook group, it has far greater accomplishments, and
Great.
which is why there are over 4,000 global educators being part of that global group for more than 4 years, which is a delightful thing.
Wow. That's a really good story to tell us about here about it. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing it with us.
My pleasure.
That I know. I'm sure that you did all these things. You gave lots of effort to do it. But I'm sure that you were not regret about it because you
Never.
accomplished lots of good things. You helped the teachers or educators from different part of the world, and that I'm sure that that made you really satisfied and happy to do it. I'm sure. I'm sure. Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm sure that the educators that you met, they were really lucky that you had you there.
I can tell you shortly that was such a rewarding experience. There's
Yeah.
nothing to be regretful about it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. Okay, so you're in Uzbekistan right now, and you know that, and you know I've I so far I have talked lots of educators and teachers. When I talk about their education system, they all say something, some good things and some bad things, and but most of them, actually not most of them, mostly all of them, let's say, they always want to change something about the education system that they have because they say they're good. Even if they say good, there is something problem there that they need to be solved. But what I'm gonna ask you, if you had the chance to change one thing in Uzbekistan's education system, what would you change and why? I ask you that because you live there and you have lots of idea about the system there. That's why I'm asking and I'm wondering what you're gonna say about it.
Absolutely. I have the first-hand experience as a local, as someone who's been here for quite a long time. I think Uzbekistan has been doing something great and not so great simultaneously. I try to
I see.
define what is so great and what is not so great
Great.
simultaneously. So the great thing is, when I was teaching in China, let's say in mid uh, 2010s, so like 2010 to 2019, I was in China, and we didn't have foreigners teaching
I
in
see.
Uzbekistan as an English teacher. But now we have, an army, literally an army of English teachers from everywhere, from every continent in Uzbekistan. This is such a great thing to see your country become truly global. So there's some sort of globalization going on, that it's becoming more like a melting pot,
I
similar
see.
to New York, where you have people coming from all over the world. That, that's such a nice thing to see, because I live in cities like Shanghai, Beijing, so those cities were pretty global and uh, truly impressive to live. But then when you have those people coming to your country in large numbers as an English
Uh-huh.
teacher, there's a downside to it as well, because most of those teachers, I found them less qualified, which is
Ah,
a saddening news. And this is what the country is not doing so greatly, because I think there has to be a quite kind of a requirement, a benchmark for them to objectively assess the professional qualities, the skill
I
set of
see.
those coming to Uzbekistan. Not just you invite any Tom, Dick, and Harry, but you actually try to do a little bit of background check. Who is this guy? And where is he coming from? And is he fit enough to be an
You're
English
right.
teacher
Yeah.
overseas? because
Yeah.
because after all you are being paid,
Exactly.
a good money. You're being paid a pretty good bucks. So I think in that sense the country is not doing well. I would love to see any teacher coming from any country, unless they are good enough, qualified enough,
Yeah.
skilled enough, talented enough, and also on top of all that, ambitious enough. I
Uh-huh.
think English teachers must be quite ambitious. Once
Exactly.
achieve a certain goal, a target, you need to raise the bar. You need to keep raising the bar. You should never be satisfied, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So,
You're right. You're right. I totally agree with you about especially the ambitious part. They should be. They should be. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for your ideas about it. Okay. Now, actually, I was planning to say the name of you have a wonderful production. I'm gonna ask you about it because it's just, the published this year, but I want you to tell us about it. So you had your book and
yes.
published this year in the USA, and I'm sure that you are very excited and happy about it. And can you tell us about it? What motivated you to write it, and how did you like your writing experience? So what was your aim? So where can people get that book? How can they reach it? So yes,
Okay, by the
I,
way, that's the book.
the art of teaching. Uh-huh.
Yes. And let your teaching voice be heard. So, little bit of history of this book. This book is the summary, the culmination of my 16 plus years of teaching experiences. Like I said, in Poland, China, Uzbekistan, and beyond. I've always had this idea at the back of my mind to come up with a kind of a summative experience of mine and just deliver it in a compact size. And nothing could be better than just a book. So I thought it is the right time to bring forth all the best ideas I've learned, all the failures, like you said, I've been through, because I haven't become, a master teacher all of a sudden, like overnight. Just like the Rome was not built overnight, so I didn't become a teacher just, in like this in a jiffy. So I thought it was time to reflect on my failures, on my triumphs, on my milestone achievements, on the lessons and insights I learned while teaching Chinese students, Polish students, Uzbek students, and some bunch of other international students. When you teach culturally diverse classes, there's so many things that come into play, and you have to be aware and cautious of not to, cross the boundaries, just to ensure that the students are more attached and included and engaged in your
Uh-huh.
classes. That your classes are a safe haven for them to make progress. Because when I was a student myself, in some classes I felt like it was it was a hub of a stress. It was like a stress zone. I didn't feel like this was a learning space. Maybe
Uh-huh.
I learned from those mistakes of my former teachers, that maybe
Sure.
if I were to become a teacher myself one day or someday, I shouldn't repeat the same old mistake. So I should at least offer something different, because, you know, I was in those shoes myself once upon a time as a student.
That's great. That's uh-huh.
The football coach couldn't be the best without being a football player himself.
You're
He
right.
must be a football player himself, and only then he can understand his players. It's almost the same mantra, the same tactic here working in the
Exactly.
teaching context.
You are right. Definitely. I totally agree with you. By the way, where can people get the book? Is it in Amazon?
They can. This book is actually available on Amazon USA, and I know that people had a little bit of logistical issues by getting hold of this book. But if they have any access to Amazon, if they have Amazon account, or if they have any relative or friends of theirs working, living, doing something in the United States, they could just get the book through
Get the
their
book.
connections,
Hmm.
most
I see.
likely.
Okay. Good. Good. Very good. Thank you very much for this brilliant books, and I'm sure that you sell lots of copies of the book, and so you get the benefit of it. Thank you for sharing and
No,
telling
no,
about the book.
this book is not for incentivizing and not for commercial purposes. This is purely for philanthropistic purpose.
Mhm. I
I
see.
get no, I get no incentive out of this book. This is just, this is for me, for all the global educators as a gift.
It's
And and,
wonderful to
and,
hear
and
that.
this
Thank you.
book, this book is one of the cheapest books on Amazon. It's just $7. What can you buy for
Wow, that's
$7? A
really
cup of
cheap.
coffee?
Wow.
A cup of
Oh,
cappuccino?
that's really good. Nice, nice, nice. The price. You said $7?
Seven
That
dollars. Only
that's
seven
really cheap.
dollars.
So thank you for sharing the ideas and for this wonderful book with us. Very good job. Okay, so you know, as an educators, like teachers, we always want to be successful in our lessons. We always want to do good things when we go inside the classroom. But sometimes, of course, we can't make it what we plan when we go into the classrooms. But most of the time, we want to be successful at the end of the lesson about our aim or about our students. We want to achieve something. As an experienced one, what do you think makes a teacher successful in the classroom?
I love your questions, really. You're asking me really thought-provoking and the best questions. And I think I got the answer from an Australian man who came to our school while I was teaching an Australian course in China. He was an auditor. He came as an inspector to observe and inspect a few things about
Uh-huh.
how the VC course was being taught at a Chinese school. And I had, kind of a one-on-one talk with him, like we're having with you in my office. And I was asking him some, really intriguing questions about the VCE course. It stands for Victorian Certificate of Education. It's taught in the Victorian state of Australia. And I used to teach that course in China at a public school.
Cool.
And I asked him about the best thing that he would suggest to all English teachers out there. And he said, look, Feruz, there are a couple of things I learned through my 30-year experience that I think can benefit everyone out there. And I said, what are those golden tips? Tell me. he said, you need to be a role model in the first place
I see.
before even walking into the classroom and opening the book and writing something on the board and saying hello everyone, now let's begin the class. No, you need to be a role model in everything you do as a teacher, because the kids you are teaching, the students, those people, they will look at you, they will look up and they would say, this is the person I love to emulate. This is the person I like to follow. This is the person I want to learn something from.
From
So,
exactly.
unless you are a role model, people won't be interested in whatsoever you are teaching. You might be the genius out there, you might be one of the smartest person on earth, but you know, we have to be a bit of a role model and a likable fella,
That's a very
a
nice one.
personable person,
Exactly. Thank you.
and a
Thank you
good
very much.
facilitator and a good facilitator.
That's also
This is
important.
this is what the young, the aspiring, the young teachers, they lack. they need to be facilitator. The modern teaching context is not about transmitting the knowledge, because the knowledge is now everywhere digitally. It's on Google, it's on AI, it's on ChatGPT, it's on Wikipedia, it's everywhere.
Everywhere. You're
They can
right.
access any kind of knowledge, any kind of information within split seconds, digitally or in person. What they truly lack is a person, a human facilitator to facilitate all these learning experiences.
You're right. Thank you. Thank you very much for giving these ideas about being successful. All right. So again, my questions related to the classroom. Before starting this job, I'm sure that lots of the teachers or educators, they all have a you know a kind of a classroom that they have in their mind. Okay, my classroom will be like this, or I will have this, that, and those in my classroom when I start my job. But actually, when you go into the classroom, sometimes they become shocked about the things that they see or about the things that they're gonna do in the classroom. But we all the teachers have their mind a dream classroom. So when you think about yourself, if you could design a dream classroom with unlimited, the resources, what would it be like?
Such a futuristic question, such a hot question. you know,
Thank
um,
you.
I had this idea at the back of my mind for quite a long time. My ideal classroom setting is different in the first place. Let me just, paint the bigger picture of what my ideal classroom may look like. In my ideal classroom, there wouldn't be movable desks. Imagine. So this is already a shocker. No desks. So what are the replacements? I would have beanbags.
Ah,
Yes. So the students can actually lie. They can move around. They can, whenever they feel down the beat, they can just, refresh themselves. They can recharge their batteries. They can, get more energy, and they can actually change their setting from time to time, not to get bogged down and bored in one place, because they need a bit of change of scenery for, every time. And then I would have a wall, one side of the wall connected to the AI powered tools, which would be an interactive board through which students would be able to connect the world. It's
I
like it's
see.
it's
That's
like it's
great thing.
like the largest wall-sized computer kind of thing. It's interactive board and computer and AI all mixed. It's all blended. It's high tech. This how I vision this. And they would see their peers from, let's say, Kenya, from Turkey, from Brazil, from South Korea, from Australia. All these classes would come alive, would be connected globally and
Uh-huh.
simultaneously. You would truly have a global connectivity in an English class. Something impossible, something unthinkable, something unimaginable previously,
Mhm.
but now
I
it can be
see.
a possibility. It can be a possibility because robot tutors and AI-powered teachers are, in the pipeline. They're just coming forward very soon from
I
China.
see. Yeah, that everything I think comes from China these days, huh?
Made in China.
Yeah. Oh, see, thank you. Thank you very much, Ajam. Thank you very much. Okay, so you just mentioned about AI. My next question is gonna be about the AI. You know that AI is very common, and we all
Yes.
it's everywhere in our life, at school, at work, at jobs. It's related with everything right now. AI, something it help us. So when you think about this in AI term, if it could take, the over one boring task in education to free teachers' time, which task would you give it as an experienced one? Which one would you give?
I would, answer this way. I would ask our fellow teachers listening to us first to divide their teaching duties and responsibilities into two groups. One is a low impact tasks. One is a high impact tasks. And
Mm-hmm.
I would ask the AI to actually go for the high impact task because the
I see.
low impact can be done by ourselves. We can actually, harness the best of artificial intelligence to create something, to evaluate, to
I
mix,
see.
or to build something from scratch. So why not use AI intelligence for the most sophisticated, for the most complex duties and responsibilities within the teaching context? Something like grading or giving some a one paragraph feedback, we can do that. We can even do it better.
I see.
We shouldn't resort it to AI for doing it. Like I know some teachers are using AI for giving some mundane and generic feedback, which has very little to do with the student because it is not personalized enough. The AI doesn't know much about the student's history. So the AI
Uh-huh.
comes up with a data-driven suggestion. The AI would say, you need to do this and you need to abstain from this. Giving some one-size-fits-all generic feedback.
I
So I
see.
think that can be done by the teachers. And for the AI, we need to resort more complex and high
Complex
impact
and high
tasks.
impact tasks. I see. I got it. Thank you. Thank you very much, Hijam. By the way, and there was a question I wanted to ask you from our audience with teacher Sarven or something like that. And she is asking which is the most important part of teaching English or methods. I know both of them are crucial, but which one is more important? English or methods? She asked this, but I don't know. I think the rest is not here.
Yeah,
I think she wants.
maybe the
I think
rest of the question.
I think she wants to ask about the method. So which method is good to use in the
Of
classroom? I
course,
think, but
of course, communicative and engaging, anything interactive and communicative. Those
uh-huh.
are those are the pillars, the cornerstone of modern ELT classrooms. I can't visualize any class without engagement, hyperactivity, and connectivity and communication. Uh, Previously, like when I was a student myself, we used to be taught in this old fashioned traditional way where the teacher would take a central stage as center point and would dictate to us, do this, don't do this, and that's it. The class was truly one way, one-sided. It was not two-way class where there was an engagement between the teacher and a student or
Any
between the
student,
student and a student. So
any
I think
student, right?
this would be the best, like connectivity, communication, communicative, interactive, engaging classes. This is
This
what
is
I
the
have been
best one.
doing for years myself.
Great, Dustin. Thank you for the answer, Rajam. Thank you very much. Okay, so we work hard as an educators. Actually, this is for every job, and sometimes people, the feels like they got bored from the things that they do, but they feel like they're looking for a motivational things about their job, and they continue to do it. Just like teachers, we every day we want to, we do something. We look for a motivational thing about our job, and we go to school and do things because there are lots of things at school to motivate us to do. But when you think about motivation about yourself, what motivates you to do all these things and your job?
I think I've already answered this question.
Yeah,
I'll
you
just
gave the
repeat. No, no.
answer.
I'll repeat the key words so that it sticks and stays with the audience. Ambition. You
Yeah.
need to be over ambitious to stay motivated. Let me just bring up this example. If you are an ordinary teacher, a lesser known teacher, your goal would be to make ends meet. You would be
Uh-huh.
living from salary to salary, and that would be
Yeah.
the end of your teaching persona and status and journey. There would be nothing like thrilling about what you do. But if you set high goals and if you are ambitious enough, you would never be satisfied. And I think in this context, Steve Jobs' quote comes in for help. He said, "Stay hungry, stay foolish."
I
This is
know.
this a massive guy. He's the owner. He was the founder, the initiator, and the creator of the Apple brand. And
You are right.
he said, stay hungry. Even though he was too successful, he was not complacent. He said, never say never. Like, you shouldn't say, okay, that's the end of my success story, because the sky's the limit.
Exactly. The sky is the limit. I totally
And
agree with you.
the sky is limitless. So there's no end.
Yeah, you're right. There's low end. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so people actually, let's say not only people, let's give me an example about educators. And I told lots of educators so far, and when I talk to them, they always tell me, that before becoming a teacher or the educator, they had a different jobs in their mind before doing this job, and then they said, okay, I want to do this job because teaching is become my passion, and I want to do it. Let's say something that they start their teaching career like that. But when my question is to you, John, if you weren't working in education or doing these kind of things, what completely different job would you try just for fun?
That's such an amazing question. I thought about this for some time because I have a natural propensity, inclination towards analytics. And I thought the best job outside the teaching job that would suit me best is data and
Analysis,
analyst. Data
analysis, analysis.
because I am so good at analyzing things critically, in many different ways. And even during my classes, I try to bring up those case studies, those
Uh,
problem solving cases for my students, because I want them to be a critical thinkers. I want to be an autonomous learners. I want
yes,
I want them to have their learner agency, in their hands. I want them own that, instead of teacher being, central and just trying to dictate something to them. No, I want the students take a center stage and take the ownership of their learner agency, be a critical thinker, and just do things on their feet independently.
I see. I see. Thank you very much. All right. So actually, you are doing lots of things about your job right now, and you have just the published your book. But what are you? I'm gonna ask you that again. What are you doing about your job, about education? Are you doing anything special, or do you have any projects that you haven't, the told to the people, and you wanna, to say the first time for us? Do you have anything like this?
Yes, there's something I want to, scratch the
Yeah.
surface and spill the beans about the project that I was envisioning for quite a while. I want to launch a leadership program for those aspiring global ELT professionals.
Wow.
And the leadership program would be open for anyone from Africa, Latin America, Europe, Asia, Oceania. So it doesn't matter where you come from, who you are, as long as you're an English teacher and as long as you are passionate and ambitious about what you do, you are most welcome. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to nourish and foster the leaders of future, not
I
just
see.
a random leader, but the educational leaders. We need
Uh,
educational leaders step up to the bigger global context and actually have their voice be heard, like the second part of my book. Let your teaching voice
yeah.
be
I
heard.
I read it. Yeah.
Most of the times, the English teachers, their voices are muted or they don't have their voice heard elsewhere, somewhere on the different part of the globe. So in this book, I try to let my teaching experiences be heard loud and clear to everywhere, and which is
Everywhere.
what I
I
want to
see it.
do as a continuation of this book. I want to launch a leadership program for ELT professionals, and I would be assisting them very closely. I'll be trying to share my global know-how and expertise with no strings attached, unconditionally. It's
I
just
see it.
rated. It's free of charge because I think this is part of what a true global educational leader does. He tries to mentor those aspiring
Uh-huh.
upcoming, those future young professionals who would actually learn something. I would be most delighted and honored and proud if there are some aspiring teachers who would get some nuggets of wisdom out of our talk, and they would just try to implement. Like today, we talked about, hyperactivity, engagement, connectivity, lots of good things.
Yes.
And that's also the aim of the a leadership program that I want to foster the future leaders of education.
I got it. Thank you. Thank you very much, Ajam. Thank you very much. Okay. So, the people, they always, want to see the good examples in their life, all right? And sometimes they follow their path to become successful. For example, you just mentioned Steve Jobs, and for example, other people, or Mustafa Kemal Atatürk, as I mentioned
Yes.
at the beginning of the session. And or there are more and more people. We have Einstein or lots of things. The people see these good examples and they want to follow their path and they want to be like them, successful, and they take them as a role model or they inspire them about the things that they do for us, maybe for all the world. So, what about you? Do you have any role models? And if yes, who are they? Or do you have any people that inspire you about the things that you did or you are doing right now?
Missionary, it is so hard for a perfectionist to have a role model because you would be so finicky and fastidious about some teeny tiny details, and you would come up with uh, some teeny drawbacks that that wouldn't make it look awesome or impressive or truly outstanding. So in my case, I don't have a role model or someone to be inspired, but I see the quotes by Jalaluddin Rumi, and you call it Mevlana
Oh,
Rumi,
exactly.
as a source of immense inspiration. Like I haven't seen that guy in person, and I can't call him,
Me neither.
my role model without seeing who he was in his life. But through his quotes, I learn a lot, and to me, he's a legend, a true legend.
hmm I see. Thank you.
Rumi.
He's a very important the person for
And
us
when I was
also.
in Turkey, in Konya, I actually paid a
Exactly.
tribute. I paid a tribute to
Oh,
his grave in
wonderful,
Konya.
wonderful. You can find lots of things about him there. I
Yes.
see. Thank you. Thank you very much for mentioning about it. Okay. So, if we read lots of books, we watch the movies, and we go some theaters and we watch them, and sometimes, especially maybe the teachers, they do this. I don't know, maybe other professions they do the same, but when we are teachers, and when we read something, and when we see that that's something important or something we can apply to our life or to our classrooms or to the school that we study or our work, or we watch a movie and we see something really interesting and we take it and we go and we share it, especially we go show, we watch it, and maybe we see some code there, we hear some code there, or we see something that really nice to apply with our students or apply to schools. But we do this kind of things. But what about you? Have you read any book or watched any movie or attend a show that unexpectedly influenced you the way you teach or research or the things you do?
Absolutely. And that was a movie. A
Nice.
movie. It is 1950s Hollywood classic. It is known as Sunset Boulevard.
Ah, that's a nice
Sunset
movie.
Boulevard. It's a tragic love story. And how did it influence me and my teaching is because it was part of the course, the Australian course that I taught in China. And while I was teaching the course, the Australian guide and mentors, they instructed me to teach to embed that movie into the curricular. And I found it really tough, a mountain to climb to teach a Hollywood classics where the language is it's flitting fast. If you watch Hollywood classics from 1950s, they speak extremely fast that it's impossible to catch up what they're talking about. And then I was tasked with teaching that highly competitive and challenging movie, linguistically, and to the students whose level was somewhere between A2 and B1.
I
The
see.
language, the language is above C2 level. The movie's language is above C2 level, but I have to teach that movie to students whose level is between A2 and B1. It was an enormous challenge and a task. At first, it scared me, and I was terrified. How on earth am I going to teach this lesson? But then,
Very nice.
um, but then I think I found a silver bullet, and
That's nice.
the silver bullet was I learned through by teaching the movie, the specific movie. I learned that anything which seems complex and high level at first can be simplified, can be
You're
made
right.
easy, can be made easy. That is, you have to embed more fun, more interactivity, more games into that complex stuff that you're teaching. And that becomes more animated and lively and engaging. Your students would love the experience.
Exactly. You're
And
right.
little do they realize at the end of the day that they have already immersed in that complex content through games, interaction, fun, and easy language. This is what
Very
I
nice.
learned by teaching
That
Sunset Boulevard.
that's very wonderful thing to do about it. I'm really happy to hear it just about the movie you take to the classrooms and the things that you do there. Thank you for sharing it with us. Thank you very much.
For sure.
We have in our life sometimes we have lots of challenging moments that we cannot, handle it, or we face problems. We try to solve it, and but sometimes we can't, and we say on our own, "Oh, I wish I could have a kind of a superpower to solve them easily or to handle it." Okay, so and then we have the power and we solve it, blah blah. But when we think about this into the classroom, so if you could have one superpower to use it in the classroom, of course, what would it be and how would it help you? I'm not talking about, the become Hulk and the smash everywhere or the using the Captain America's shield and blogging and the doing something in the classroom or something like that. But of course, if you have that, if you would like to have that kind of powers, you are welcome to have it. So yes,
By the way, my most favorite and likable superhero is Superman.
yeah,
Just,
I love him
just,
too.
just for your information. But
Yeah.
if you want me to choose any specific superpower to transform my classroom, that would be this. I think I really want to get into the mind of my students and see how much of their mind is preoccupied with learning stuff and how much of that is not. and then I want to just empty the unnecessary part, just trash it out, and
Nice,
just
very nice.
fill it with more English.
That's very nice superpower. Yeah, that we need that, by the way. We really need that. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing it. Okay, so think that we finish our interview, and you step outside your home and to find a lottery ticket that ends up winning $100 million. What would
Really?
you do? Please be honest. I know it's a huge amount of money, but maybe you can tell about your ideas or something that you want to, make it real.
I love this question. I'm sure you and all those people watching and listening to us might have heard who Alfred Nobel is, right? There's Nobel Prize
Yes,
for the
Mhm.
scientific breakthroughs, right? So that guy became super popular and even legendary because of what he did. He invested his money for the innovators, for the pioneers, for the greatest scientists of the future.
Mm-hmm.
And
I see.
that investment paid off. He became
Exactly.
super popular. He became not short of legend. He's a true legend. His name is all over mass media on digital world everywhere, and
Everywhere.
people are so proud to receive Nobel Prize, right?
You're
It's
right.
it's everyone's dream. So I would donate all the money to the future of education as an investment, and I would have the award named after me.
Haha, very
And
nice.
I wish the award becomes more popular than Nobel Prize.
That's a very nice to use the money. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you very much for
My
sharing this
pleasure.
idea. I hope you will to do it in the future. Your wish. Okay.
Absolutely.
So the time flies, and now I'm gonna ask you my last question, and which is the hardest one. Ready for it?
Yeah, sure.
What is your motto?
Take the lead.
Ah, very nice. A very
Because
nice answer.
people are often scared to take the lead, the first step.
I
Take the
see.
first step. Sorry, take the first step. And then you can take the lead, actually. People are afraid to take the first step in doing anything in life. And if you take the first step, all the rest becomes super easy.
Mm-hmm. I
Just
see.
be
I got
bold
it.
enough
Thank you.
and take the first step.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. And I ask all my questions to you. And before ending our live session, of course, would you like to say anything or any suggestions or any advice to the audience?
First of all, allow me to thank you from the bottom of my heart for
You're welcome.
inviting me to your global show. This is a global show by Mr. Inair's show. You can actually rename it Inair's show.
Ina Show. That's very
Yes.
nice name, by the way. I will think about it. Ina Show.
Yes, in our show. Yeah, because I think it is no less than a show. You had 219 global educators prior to me. And I,
Exactly.
I, I watched all those people on your social media, on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, and I think you did an amazing job. So kudos to you. It's a commendable act in education. I think you also deserve some sort of greatest accolade and a trophy for the Global Teacher Talk Series. I'm serious about it.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe one day someone maybe would like to, if they would like
Will
to give some
recognize and
kind of.
appreciate. And that would be
Thank you very
me.
much.
That would be me.
Thank you. Thank you from now. Thank you very much. I see. Okay. So I just would before ending it, and I would like to say one more time, thank you very much for your ideas, for your suggestions, for your advice, and especially, which is the most important thing, is your time. You spent your time here. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
And Feruz Akbarov was with us here tonight, and with Teacher Talks 220 session, and we had a fruitful session with him. And as you know, that we are going to be here next week at the same time on the same day, every Monday at 9 p.m. in Turkish time. So until next time, wherever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Please take care of yourself. Take care of yourself, Feruz Hocam. And until the next time, bye bye, everybody, and peace.
Peace out and see you
Yes.
at the next episode of In Air Show.
Thank you. Bye.
See you.